everybody, and welcome to the Biggles Breakdown. My name is Biggles. I am your host, and I have three guests today. So we're going to start with our newest guest, and someone I watch his channel all the time, Brandon, that anime guy. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit who you are.
Hello everybody, I am Brandon the Anime Guy, and on my channel I primarily talk about anime, but I've also been diving into some manga and into some gaming things, but anime is my passion. It's so much fun, and this particular show that we're going to talk about was much better than I anticipated, and fortunately it was not a letdown like Chainsaw Man, so it's good, and I'm glad it's getting a second season.
Now, where would you rank this on the spring anime list?
Let me actually bring up my list here real quick, looking at the springtime. Let's see. It's below Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. That's a 10. Kaiju number 8 is a 9.5 out of 10. Easily.
Okay. So I haven't seen Jobless Reincarnation, but I'll have to watch it. Kaiju number 8 is my favorite of the spring, and it's now one of my favorite series of all time. So I absolutely love it. I bought all the mangas like after binging the first 6 episodes, and I was like, wait, it's not over, because usually dubs are like 2 weeks behind, and it had subs and dubs. So I thought, oh, maybe this is a short series and it's only 6 episodes. And I'm so glad I was wrong. And I thought episode 10 was going to be where this season ended. And I'm kind of very glad that it ended at where 12 did, because that means it might be able to wrap it up in like season 2 in a movie. Even though I think season 2 probably should be a movie because of what goes on. But that arc is probably going to be like 2 episodes tops. So we'll see where season 2 goes when it comes out. But let's introduce our other person on the bottom, the Gaming Ronin. So go ahead and introduce yourself and let the people know a little bit about you.
I'm Gaming Ronin. I don't really have much to say. I just kind of stream games from time to time and watch anime. That's about it.
There you go. And then you guys know my mod, Swigs. So Swigs, you can tell the people whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't do anything. I just annoy the crap out of anyone.
Yeah, there we go. That is.
But Skizzles loves me more.
I believe it. That's fine with me. You can have Skizzles. All right. So Kaiju number 8. I absolutely love this, and I want to start off with just asking you guys who's your favorite character and why. Whoever wants to go first, we can start in the same way of the introductions. And let Brandon go first, and then Ronin, and then Swigs, and then me.
That's a very good question. You know, the easy answer is Kafka and Reno, but I think I'm going to go for Vice Captain Shoshiro Hashina. He's got kind of that air of mystery about him. You don't know, how dangerous he truly is until he is willing to show you. And if he's willing to show you how dangerous he is, then you're in kind of the deep shit end of the pool at the time. So I really like his character.
Now I consider him like the Levi character of Kaiju number 8. He's not the world's strongest. That's the guy you meet at the very end with the giant sword, narumi. I don't know how to say his name. He's the captain of the first division, and he's the strongest out of all of them. But I think more like when you see him, it reminds you of Levi because he's about to kick some ass every time you see him. So, and you meet him and he's laughing. So that is a good answer. Ronin, who's yours?
I'm basic. I'm going with Kafka.
Okay.
You just spend a bit more time with him because he is the main character. It's really just because the bit of character progression you get since the beginning of kind of him almost being all right with giving up, and towards the end where he no longer wants to give up on his dreams of being by what's her name side. Like I said, I'm bad
Mina Hashina.
Yeah, by her side and stuff.
Now, I'm actually working on a video that I have the script all set. I just got to do some clips and editing and recording for it on Kafka. Now, Kafka's a 30-something-year-old who's immature and only serious when he needs to be, and that sounds exactly like me. So,
Sounds like
I
many anime
like him.
protagonists that are always.
Well, he's a lot
Fucking.
older than most of them.
Well, I mean, like personality-wise, where they're joking and all, and only serious when they need to be. Almost like Goku, a bit, or at least Super Goku, but that's more being retarded and then smart when he needs to be serious.
All right.
Yeah, I think he's just shy of 33 because isn't the whole point of that it was his last chance and they said the cutoff went up to 33 years old?
Yeah,
Correct.
he was at the cutoff
Yeah.
line for joining the Japanese Kaiju self-defense force. That's correct.
Yeah.
And he had failed 12 times previously. But apparently he's always passed the first part of the exam. And as we know, that it changes every year. So the second part is where he fails because he's like either not ready for it or something. So Swigs, who is your favorite character?
It took me a minute to think of it, but I'd have to say, like I said, I'm horrible with any of their names, but what's that dude that's been there since he turned into the Kaiju?
Reno.
Reno. Yeah, I'd say him because he isn't just like a tag along dude that just helps him out. I mean, he even has his own like type of story, backstory to himself and his own motivations to do better himself and to get stronger. But he's also he doesn't. It didn't take like everyone else that has sided with them. They had to see, oh, he's not just a kaiju. He'll fight for you and everything. That dude just immediately accepted him
Mm-hmm.
and was there to help him. So I think that character is pretty cool.
Well, then you will like the next season if what happens in it happens. Because it might be season 3, and if it is season 3, then season 3 is going to be all fighting, so it will be probably awesome. So yeah, you have something to look forward to if Reno is your favorite character. So my favorite character is the vice captain, Hoshina, and I bought like a $140 figure of him that comes out in April, and I also bought like the little Droid figure of him too. That also comes out in April, so I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I think of him as like the Levi character, where he's badass, and every time he's on screen, something awesome is going to happen. Like when you first meet him, he's just like laughing, and he's like, "Yeah, we need him for the comic duo. We need comic relief, depending on sub or dub." And he believes in Kafka. He's one who is willing to defend everyone else, even if it kills him. And he just kept getting better and better with swords. And I can't wait till the later episodes that come out because I've read the manga and I know what's going to happen. So I'm super excited for more of that. So let's did you guys have a favorite episode or anything? Anybody? Because personally, my favorite is 8, where you have Kafka fight the vice captain, and then you have the little party. And if you notice that Reno and Shinomiya have juice because they're not old enough to drink. And it even mentions that in the manga. It's like, notice how Shinomiya does not have alcohol because she's too young. So Brandon, what's your favorite episode?
As far as the episodes go, I liked the first 3. I liked the last. I like them all, but I think I would have to go with the initial ones because you get to see how he becomes what he becomes, which is a very a gross way of being transformed. And I'm hoping that in next seasons we actually find out what the hell's actually going on and why we have these cognizant kaijus that are not just the brainless beasts, but more like a Kaiju Kyu Go. You know, the one with the one that looks like he has a hat on.
Kaiju number
No,
9.
number 9.
Yeah, Kaiju number 9. And then, of course, Kaiju number 10. The battle with Kaiju number 10 was epic, and the battle between the head of the Japanese Kaiju self-defense force and using remnants of Kaiju number 2 versus number 8 was also very epic, and it's a good reminder to try not to lose yourself in the heat of the moment.
There, yeah, I absolutely love every single episode. Some of my favorite characters will get their time to shine later on. They haven't got to shine yet. There's also like the side stories that you don't actually get in the show. Like, you know how Shinomiya has the axe? Well, in the side story manga, you actually see that she had a sword first, and the manga writer actually was thinking, hey, I want her to have a sword, and he changed his mind last minute and changed it into an axe, as like a contrast to how like small frame she is compared, and just give her a big hulking weapon rather than a weapon that would like fit her size. So Ronan, what is your favorite episode?
My favorite was episode 12. It was, so part of it's because you see how powerful Kafka is in kaiju form, even though he kind of lost control, but just how powerful he can be. And I'm not even sure if that's really his full power that we saw, but still just a fraction of it. And then to see him regain control at the end. Don't know if he fully can control his kaiju self. Like, he won't just lose himself like he did at the end of 11, beginning of 12. But just the fact that he was able to regain control, just seeing how much more powerful he is. And that's about it. Why I like the why 12 is my favorite.
All right. Swigs, what about you for what's your favorite episode?
Well, without seeing 12, but I'd have to say, I don't think it was the first episode that he completely turned, right? It was the second?
Well, he changed at the very end of 1, but 2's
Okay.
basically when you get to know him as
Yeah. So then
Kaiju.
2, because that had an awesome, the first fight scene, and then the whole thing of him like that weird deformed squid looking thing running when he first changed and he was running down the street, and they're like what the heck is that? I mean, so it's got the humor and the fight scenes all together.
Then
I
he
think that one
came
was
through
pretty
his
good.
nipples. Yeah. So, fun fact about episode 2. You know that scene where she goes, but what about the good kaijus? That is anime exclusive. That is not in the manga. It's not in the manga. So, yeah. So let's switch it over. Yeah. So let's switch it over to also in episode 5, I think it is, when it's episode 7, where Kafka kicks the shit out of 9. And there's the car scene, like after the credits or whatever, and he takes over the new body. That's actually longer in the anime than it is in the manga as well.
So they shoring that down?
Yeah. They, no, they made it longer. It's longer in the anime. There's like a couple more lines, like 3 more lines. So what did you guys like about the season? Brandon, was there something really that stood out in this season compared to like that might be outside of your favorite episode?
It had good, consistent pacing. It didn't make me bored, and it had characters that I actually liked. As I said, the only other type of show that kind of had a similar feel to it coming in as far as excitement and having such strong manga sales was Chainsaw Man, and I despised Chainsaw Man. I didn't like the anime at all. It was stupid. This had a good look to it. Production IG pulled their head out of their ass and started. They have a way of being pretentious about things. They didn't feel pretentious with this. They did the job. They did it well. They had their They had their serious parts, they had their moments of levity, and it all worked. So overall, it just had a very good flow to it. And Production IG reminded what they can do when they actually are serious about doing good work.
There you go. Now, one thing I would say is the art of the characters is a lot better in the manga than it is in the anime, and I don't know why that is.
Money.
But okay, that's a simple answer. All right, Ronan, what is something you liked about this season?
It didn't go full on Attack of Titan, where most of your characters you like just dies. Because I felt so when it mentioned how when Vice Captain mentioned how grim the job could be, part of me was worried that it was going to go Attack on Titan during the season, where some of the characters you like you'll just see die. That's one thing. I'm glad that didn't happen, but part of me wondering if it will happen later on, and just the fact that it has good characters that you like and stuff.
Now, I actually have a theory on what the captain was saying. I think it was kind of like a way of saying you're not going to be in third division forever. And as we see, it doesn't say exactly where they're going, but Iharu and Reno are going to fourth division. Shinomiya and Kafka are going to first division. And then second division is getting Izumo and Aoi. So the divisions are getting split up. Ashino, or the captain and vice captain, of course, are staying in third division. So everybody's going their separate ways to get like specialized training. So I think that was like a little hint to everybody was going somewhere else and not to get too comfortable with your teammates that are around. I think he was also saying that people might die, but I believe at that time they were already in the works, because in episode 11 they were saying how they were already in the works of getting people to go different places. So, Swigs, what did you like about this season?
I like the art style that's went through there. Also, that you can also keep track of what's actually happening during fight scenes, which in some animes it kind of blows too quick, and it's like trying to keep up with what just happened. Did they actually hit each other and stuff? I think kind of like if I'm trying to think of what I was thinking of recently that I watched that was like that. I think I went through Dragon Ball Super. No, the Broly movie after Dragon Ball Super. There were several fight scenes in that, and it's just like they were just going all over the place. It's like, dude, I can't even keep tell what's actually being animated. So I thought it was the art style in this was really good, especially that fight with Vice Captain against Kaiju number 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one in general, because it's like he's all over the place, but you could still keep track of what he's doing.
Yeah.
The one thing that I while watching it, I'm not saying at all that I didn't like it, but I kind of felt like the main story. I don't know. It's gonna probably pick up. I don't know if it picks up more in the rest of the seasons, but I felt like the main story so far was kind of generic anime.
Do you care to elaborate? What is the main story?
Oh, I mean, just someone gets a monster inside of them. They gotta, and they got people that know about it. They don't. You got somebody he's striving to be like, just stuff like that. I mean, the art, the act, the voice acting and everything, and was great. It's just I feel like the basic story is kind of generic.
All right.
At least to start off.
Sometimes simple storytelling is the best type of storytelling. So what I really liked is actually the bonds between the characters and how each person grows. Because when you first meet Mia, she like is kind of a biatch, and she's mean to Kafka and everybody. And then her attitude completely changes once Kafka saves her. Even though like her character, she's kind of messed up because when her
She has
mother
daddy
died,
issues.
when her mother died, her dad completely changed. So like you'll get more of that backstory, but like once her mother died, he started pushing her harder, and it kind of messed her up because she's the youngest person to graduate from her kaiju killing school. And by the time we meet her, I'm not sure how old she is. She like became valedictorian at 16, but I think there's like you have to be 18 to sign up for the defense force. Now I don't know if they changed or she's like an exception because she's the director general's daughter. But when Ashina tried out, she was already Kafka's had already failed for 5 years, and it doesn't say how old they were, so it might have been like 18 to join, and because Reno waited till he was 18 to join as well, so that is.
I had the feeling that she was that like you said, she got special treatment. I don't know. Some reason I had like a feeling she's more at least 16, but it's closer to that.
Her attitude definitely acts like it, but I like how everybody's relationship grows. And then in the last couple episodes, the 11 and 12, they're all rooting for Kafka to come back. So I really like that about the season. And we'll go, what are we looking forward to the next season? What do we want to see in the next season? Brandon, go ahead.
Well, the next season, since now he's been outed as Kaiju, although I want to see more of the how, the whys, and the whats of him. I want them to try and figure it out to see if he can try to maintain some of his humanity. I don't want to see him get exploited, and I do want to see him, go out and do what he does best, which is being the support guy, knowing how to kill the Kaiju, and when the shit really hits the fan, being the one to make the final transformation to win. But not to give anything away, I have heard that the more that he changes, the more he changes. So that could be something that could eventually become a problem depending upon how the story goes. And I do want to say, as far as the manga goes, there's a reason that this has become so popular. In less than 3 years, it's sold over 55 million copies. They're doing something right. It's obviously resonating somewhere. So, yeah, I can't wait for it. I know we're going to have to wait longer than I care to wait for it, but yeah.
Well,
yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
I can tell you the rumor that you heard. The more he changes, I don't think that's true, based on everything I read. So you don't have to worry about that a little bit, because to me he still seems like Kafka the entire time. He doesn't feel like he's just out of character because the monster just takes over. So that's good for your worries. Ronan, what are you looking forward to?
I want to see more fight scenes with Kaiju number 8. Because so far, most of them's just been like One Punch Man-ish, where it's just one punch, the Kaiju's dead. So maybe a bit more, bit longer fights, I guess. And explanation on what was the Kaiju he ate in the hospital, and why was it looking for Kafka, and then just go with some random person on the street. Because it did say, because the Kaiju said, found you at the end of episode 1, so I'm wondering why Kafka of all people. So maybe some explanation on that. Bit longer fight scenes. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe a bit more interaction between all the characters, and yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Swix.
I kind of agree with Ronan, but I would say about that Kaiju that, like, yeah, how he said that I found you. At first, my thought was like it was a rogue Kaiju that was like wanting to find somebody that was worthy to like fight against the other ones. But then that episode 11 where it took over his body and wanted to kill everyone, I'm like, okay, maybe that's not it. So maybe more explanation on what happened there, and I'm also wondering why it took so long to stay dormant inside of him. Like, was it like that scene where he was like extremely angry that set him off, and that his anger ended up, like um getting its attention, or like he lost control, so then that thing was able to take control. So I kind of like more explanation on what that where that one came from, what its motivations are.
I think they tried to explain that in episode 12, but you missed it.
Yeah, I missed it.
Because I think like Kafka even says a line like, my body thinks I'm fighting a kaiju because he's fighting number two's weapons. And how the weapons work is when they link to your system, you basically have some of the kaiju's powers, and it kind of like changes your body, and like the more you use them, the less time you have, or at least that's how I understood it when I read it. So there's that. So that could be the reason why it was dormant for so long. Or it could be like in Jujutsu Kaisen, where he has like this strange power to be able to control the bad guy within him. So that's another guess on that. I'm also looking forward to how they end up the kaiju, like why that kaiju was looking for him, and I'm also looking forward to more Vice Captain, because he's going to be awesome. And then there's a character that is just like fun and crazy, so I'm looking forward to see a little bit of him in a couple episodes. So basically, I talked about the things I could think of off the top of my head. So is there anything about this show that you want to talk about? Is there something that really drew you in, or anything like that? And this is anybody who wants to answer, we can start talking.
I thought it was funny in that one episode where they renamed the Corona beer into Koala beer.
Oh yeah, the koala beer. Yeah.
I thought that looked familiar. Yeah, I was like, that's familiar.
Yeah, I was going to ask, has anybody, or does anybody know the beer they drink, and it's koala beer? So glad someone noticed that and brought it up.
There's another one I am kind of a storyline that I am kind of curious about, because they just kind of hint at it and they don't really explain it. But the arms dealer's son, the rich kid,
Azuma?
like, yeah, because he was talking vaguely with the guy who owns that restaurant that they went to.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't really and it was so vague that I didn't even pick up on it. But then he was like so nervous that other dude overheard, and I'm like, overheard what? You'd hardly said anything. But he was like really concerned about it. So it's like, I'm kind of wondering like what that whole deal is about.
Well, he doesn't want special treat. He doesn't want to be considered like he's getting special treatment because of who he is. Like, he's the son of the Defense Force, or not the guy who makes the Defense Force armor, and then he's like fighting with his dad. So he doesn't want people to know about his personal life.
Well, I got that, but they kind of like hinted that there was something deeper, like there's an actual backstory to that, but they didn't really even vaguely go into it.
We got to wait on who gets like side stories. There's one character that is actually, according to the manga, is actually the manga artist's favorite character, or the manga writer's favorite character. And he's not one of the main characters, so he does get a backstory. So I'm excited for that, and that might be next season as well. So, Brandon, you're the get. Oh, go ahead, Swigs.
I was just gonna say, like when they killed Kaiju number 10, I'm kind of curious if these stronger Kaijus that they find, are they also using their bodies to create better, suits and weapons and everything?
Well, that's part of the program, is to take their remnants and do stuff with that, assuming that anything even survives. Although Kaiju 10, and with 9 and 8 having the higher functioning abilities, that makes them anomalies in the whole thing, and that's a very disturbing trend that they saw going forward. So it'll be interesting to see just how much smarter the Kaiju human hybrid thingies become.
Mm-hmm. And we already know that 9 has already taken the top leaderboards on the chess app, so he's already intelligent, and he said he already figured out how Kaiju number 8 fights, so he'll be able to stop him next time. So he's definitely gaining intelligence really, really fast. So we'll see if that happens with the other ones as well.
I'm also kind of curious about them if it's. I kind of feel like it's more a Kaiju that's learning to be human, an opposite of 8. But part of me wonders if if it was the same situation, but they were actually able to fully take over a human body, like the one tried to do to 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like, were they people before the Kaiju took them over, or was it just an evolving Kaiju?
All right.
That was actually something I just thought of what I wanted to see them expand on, is the difference between Kaiju 8 and 9 and 10. Because with 8, the Kaiju for 8 seems more like Venom in the form of, it's like a suit that goes over Kafka. But 9 looks like if it was a Kaiju fully transforming to look human, and it's not a
Mm-hmm.
human that turned Kaiju. So I wonder if that will go, if they'll dive into that and explain, is 9 full Kaiju just transforming to human, whereas Kafka is human and the Kaiju in him is just transforming like Venom.
Yeah, we got too many questions that we don't have answers for yet, and I hope that they do explore some of that and get some of that figured out, because that would be good to know.
And that's one of the reasons why I've been reading ahead in the manga. I gotta.
Biggles got the answers. I was gonna say, yeah,
Can I
because
borrow
I feel
your
like
manga?
if they don't explain certain little aspects, it might. I don't know. I mean, everyone still likes it, but I think it might hurt the fandom if they don't actually get some of these things, explained at least a little.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff that I'm like looking through trying to find, and I'm just like, oh, what's it going to be? Anything good? Is it going to explain one of the chapters? They're like, oh, it's a brand new chapter, and it was like just 8 pages, and I was like, oh, come on. How are you going to drop a new chapter and it just be like 8 pages? Then you have to wait 2 weeks because it comes out every 2 weeks on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Well, I mean, I don't think everything has to be explained for it to be good, because I mean, just take a Yoda species in Star Wars. Nobody knows what that is, and it's actually become a beloved thing that nobody once touched or explained. So I mean, not everything has to always be.
mm-hmm. But there are some stuff in here that you really wish to get explained, and when you don't get it explained, it's kind of disappointing.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a chance that what the manga doesn't explain might get explained in the anime. There could be that, where they might dive more into it in the anime.
That's true.
That's what some do.
I'm just waiting for the little girl in episode 2 to come back. Spoiler, but it's only for a scene. But I want to see it.
That don't seem good.
What, the one he saved?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I didn't think there was really much to her, so I didn't know that. I didn't expect her to come back.
Well, they gave her an extra scene in the anime, so she's got to be important somewhat, right? or at least to the anime people.
She was the second one to not think number 8 was evil.
There you go. Look at that.
That's the importance.
And just remember that later on.
Now you got me worried for some reason.
That little girl is important, damn it, and we need more of her. All right. So let's see. Usually I like to show off my merch and manga because I've already spent like $800. So there's 10 books out.
Yeah, you had
in
to do a
English.
lot of extra tips for that.
I know. The things are unspeakable acts.
Maybe
I
I'm
got
gonna borrow your manga. I need them.
no. I'll send you something though. Then there's I got this for my birthday. It's Kafka, and then I have about 8 figures pre-ordered. So waiting for those. Those don't come out till April, so I got to wait patiently till they get here.
Are you saying you're done collecting Konosuba?
No, I already got all the ones I want from that. It's not. I made sure not to get Kaza trash because he's trash. All right. So, favorite kaiju, 8, 9, or 10, or even 2, because we've met or we've seen 2.
I'm on basic Kaiju 8.
All right. Swigs.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same just because I'm also a big fan of that color scheme.
All right. Brandon.
I'm gonna go ahead and stick with 8.
All right. I'm going with 10, and because 10 is awesome. He's actually better in the manga than he is in the anime, but 10 is awesome. And
10's a good 2. 9 just looks like a weird, creepy twig. Like if Maza was a kaiju.
that's an insult to number 9.
But he's not as retarded as Maza, so
Thank
He
goodness.
seems to be the brains behind all of this. If I had to speculate, that's how he behaves.
Mm-hmm. He's very smart.
I don't know if he's
Go ahead.
I don't know if he's the brains behind all of this, because the way it seemed like if he was almost like a pawn himself or a second in command to someone else.
Yeah, it almost. Yeah, he seems smart, but it only seemed like he only was smart to a certain point. Like he was almost like he was programmed to a certain point, and then programmed to learn. Like I almost suspected, almost like I was kind of getting a vibe almost of like these kaiju coming out, especially when 10 arrived, almost like the robots in Incredibles, where it's like it learns from the last one. If it dies, it like the next one would be even stronger.
So if so, hypothetically speaking, if number 9 is not the bad kaiju in charge, what do you think the kaiju that is in charge does? Or do you think it is a person who could be in charge?
I think somebody's making them, or somebody. There's a. I feel like there's a human or an organization that is in control of either controlling actual kaiju and making them, or they're just manufactured.
I'm gonna say it's probably a kaiju in itself, maybe the strongest or whatever, that's behind the scenes controlling, and 9 is the second in command to it. Because I don't know, I don't see it being a person who's making them and controlling them, but I think it could be almost like a kaiju in itself. That's almost like a Muzan or Muzan, however you say his name, has been off from Demon Slayer. Maybe another kaiju
Kabutsuji.
that's
Yeah.
making them almost because it could be that the kaijus we're seeing could be people too that's transformed and fully lost themselves. I think it's just another kaiju that's either stronger or just smarter than the current ones we're seeing. Maybe.
Uh-huh. All right. And Brandon, you think he's the leader. So do you want to play along with the hypothetical, or do you want to say why you think he's the leader more than anybody, or than him being like a number two?
Well, he survived. He's obviously logical. He's trying to set up something. Just from what we've seen so far, he seems like the most logical choice to be the one primarily in charge, or in charge of this field operation, if you want to put it into those terms. But yeah, he's by far the most diabolical and devious out of all of them.
All right.
At
I
most,
also what?
At most, he could be like the front man. You think he's in charge, but he's really not. Because I remember, like, he said, during when they first, well, not first, but the second time they meet Nine, he says something about not wanting to disappoint, not bringing something back. It almost seemed like that from there seemed like if he wasn't in charge of someone else. Which I could also
see the part I think I kind of could see that too, as far as him being it. I think when anime was talking about like he's of the field operation. I think he I don't think he's like the, if it is that way, I would say that he's not like the main, but he is like the one that's directing everything. Like, because he did make mistakes. He was overconfident and thought that he knew, and that he was like that Kaiju number 8 couldn't do anything to him, and he was like completely wrong. But when he when Ren or whatever and that other
Reno.
dude, Reno, when and that other dude came across him, he was mumbling to himself, but he was like, "Oh, they even got this. I put more." He said, "I put more, you know, eggs or whatever spawning into them, and they destroyed it." So obviously he's doing a lot of the work, creating the ones that are going out, like the minion ones.
So let me ask you this. Before I ask, Ronan, that's he was talking about grabbing a body. As we've noticed, he's already taken over 2 bodies, so he was looking for a third one.
Well,
so
when I first watched, it seemed like almost like bringing back a trophy, like a head or something type. That's what I thought. Like wanting to bring back a trophy.
Well, then why don't you bring back both and not just one? But I have a question, because Swigs brought up that he was working on it. Do you think number 9 could have been making more kaijus, like possibly number 10, or like those wyverns that you see in the raid?
See, that's where I don't think that he's like the main one, because Kaiju 10 seemed like he was way stronger than 9. So it's like, and it seems like that there's a pecking order. Like, even those things, the ones that were flying around and everything, they even said, "Oh, these aren't typically in packs. Something stronger must have be controlling them." So there's almost like a hierarchy of strength of who's in charge. So with, I don't think he would have made 10 to be stronger than him.
So do you think number 10 could have possibly been the one in charge?
No, because as far as story wise, they wouldn't have just killed him off in one episode.
That's a good point. I'm just going off of what you ask, or what you say and what you ask. So there's like 3 levels of kaiju. There's the Yoju, the Hojiju, and the Dai Kaiju. Now, if I said those wrong, it's because I can't pronounce words correctly. But I would have thought that maybe it was like based on size. Okay, that was good. Based on size, and it wasn't, but they do have small, medium, and giant class. So but it's like power. So I think it's 1 through 6, 6 through 8, and then 8 through 10 is how they level up. Um, so, Brandon, you said you had about 10 minutes left. So, what are your final thoughts on this anime? Anything you want to say about it? This is your time to do it, and then you can tell everybody where they can find you.
Absolutely, yeah. I loved it. As I said, it turned out better than I thought it was going to be. I do tend to not gravitate towards these type of shows too easily, and I'm glad that I was proven wrong and that this wasn't overhyped. This was hyped enough. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the second season. Hopefully, we don't have to wait too long. Hopefully, we'll get more explanations, more battles, and of course, a little more a little more shenanigans with Kafka trying to not be a kaiju. So it's gonna be interesting how they play everything out. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And as I said, I thought this first season makes me kind of wish they would do the longer seasons anymore. But since it wasn't, 9.5. I think that's fair for this first season. It got everything off to a good start.
Perfect. And then I'm putting your chat or your channel in the chat.
Thank you.
So go ahead and go there to sub to Brandon. We'll put that on the screen. Great. He's a great anime guy. I'm a member on his channel. I listen to him talk about anime. I go into the streams. So go check him out. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And gentlemen, it was definitely good to be here. As I said, I do got to go spend some time with the wife and all that stuff. So I appreciate it. You all have a wonderful night. And hopefully Kaiju number 8 doesn't bite the dust. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
All right, you guys. So thank you again to Brandon for joining us. Ronan, what are your final thoughts on Kaiju number 8? To go into a spiel and then we can send them wherever you want.
I love this season. I want more. I need season 2 injected into my veins right now. I like the humor in it. The battles, although some are very short because how number 8 seems to just be Saitama at the moment. But like the battle between the vice captain and 10 was awesome. Even when he was fighting 8, even though 8, like Kafka wasn't really fighting back for reasons of not wanting to kill the vice captain. Oh, thanks for that. But just seeing how the vice captain fight was nice. I definitely want more explanation between, again, the kaiju that was looking for Kafka, why I was looking for him, the difference between Kafka and 9, if 9 is full on kaiju where, Kafka is human turned. And one thing I was actually thinking of while watching it is what would be cool is seeing a hack and slash game for Kaiju number 8. Because it seems like it fit.
So you know, there is a Kaiju number 8 game in the works.
Oh. Because while watching, I'm like, you know what? Hack and slash would really work for it. Just because their first mission where there's hordes upon hordes of kaiju just made me think, yeah, hack and slash could work. But yeah, more explanation. Seeing if Kafka is more powerful than we saw in episode 12. Will he somehow lose control again? Whether it is his body reacting to another Daikaiju, or is he just going to give into anger at some point, almost like blind rage, just something. More fights, more longer fights, because as cool as it is to see Kafka be powerful like he is, where like the typical kaiju he just kills in one punch. Be nice to see more longer, more exciting fights a bit. Like 9, where he didn't really kill 9 in one punch. Although I will say it was kind of funny seeing how 9's reaction was of him seeing his back and stuff. just a casual like, "Oh, my head's been punched off." That I kind of found that funny, just as a reaction. But yeah.
Now it is a mobile game, but
I hate it already just because mobile games.
well, you can play it on your PC.
Oh, okay. My interest is piqued.
So was that Fairy Tale mobile game able to be on PC too?
I don't know. I didn't play it. I probably should have skipped to the actual gameplay. But there's Kafka looking over an entire building, 13 million something. Can't read.
Probably players or something.
So there's the defense force. They're going in. There's Shinomiya. That might be 10.
Nice. That doesn't look like 10. That looks like what I would imagine the Kaiju boss will look like.
So there's the video game. I'll definitely play it, whether it's whether it's mobile or not. I just hope it's not like super gotcha. And I hope it's not like you need an ultra rare version of Kafka and you need like a super rare, and like I hope it's not like that.
I'm just tired of majority of the anime games. Like I get it because mobile games are typically easier to develop, but just be nice to get more console games. Like Bleach, it needs a new console game. Dang it! But yeah. I just really want them to dive into a bit more stuff next time. And I definitely like the humorous moments, or just noticing a few brands being changed, like the koala beer. But yeah, that's about it that I get to say for now.
Yeah, in that like first episode, there's just a bunch of beer, and Kafka complains about his hangover, and he literally just gets hammered because he can't deal with the fact that Mina made it and he failed 12 times. So he was like, "Oh, I blame that stupid special," and he was just getting hammered. So Swigs, final thoughts, and anything you want to do or say?
I think I'm looking forward to seeing it expand more on the story, kind of motivations and stuff. And like I said, it is the first season. It's just the beginning of the story. So yeah, it's gonna seem like it's kind of generic in some ways. But as far as like the characters between each other, I thought that was pretty good. It's just the basic story. So I'm looking forward to it expanding on that, and doing a lot more like explanations. Would be interesting if they figure out how Kaiju number 8, what actually was done to him, and maybe they find a way to create more human hybrids to fight. That'd be interesting.
All right. And for my final thoughts, I absolutely love this. I spent like $800 after watching the first 6 episodes. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch this first episode and go to bed. And I was completely hooked. And usually as soon as I turn on the TV, I fall asleep. And I stayed up and watched all 6 episodes that came out that very first day. And I checked, what is it called? Good Smile? Yeah, I checked Good Smile, where I have all my figures and stuff. And I found out that now they had Kaiju number 8. And I was like, oh man, they only have Kafka and Reno. So I pre-ordered Kafka and Reno. And then the next day, the rest, or 4 more came out. And I was like, I bought all 4 of those. And then last week, I got my paycheck and I was like, I'm buying this Kafka figure and I'm buying this Hashina figure. and I don't regret any of it. And I almost spent more on the Mina one, but the Mina one was like $274, and I was like, I'm not spending an extra $140 for Mina. So if you need a fun anime that has awesome kaiju killing, I recommend Kaiju number 8. This is my number 1 in spring. My number 2 is Windbreaker. I've watched a couple others this spring that I kind of didn't really get into. The summer one is coming up, but I just wish season 1 didn't end, and I wish season 2 was still going. So that is all I really have to say about this. I'm super excited to see more of the characters starting next time. Maybe we'll get to see more of the Cougar platoon leader, because she's a fun character, and I can't wait to see more of the little girl. And the blue-haired chick actually talks in this. She doesn't have a line in the manga, so the anime felt like she was important enough to have her talking throughout the thing rather than just being a background character. So there's that. And that's all, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I want to possibly talk about Jujutsu Kaisen next time. That it's either Jujutsu Kaisen or maybe I'll even do Konosuba. But if I do Konosuba, it might have to be pre-recorded because I want to see if I can get Mist on, because that's his favorite isekai. So once again, thank you everybody for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Biggles is here. Hi, says I could be a hooker. Biggles, will your hooker name be Bagels? Mine would be cream cheese. That's my stripper name.